The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air. Amnon, what's happening? You're looking a little thin there, man. What's really going on in your life? Like, why you hiding this, man? Something clearly happening. What you ain't telling me for real?
Jonadab, my cousin and I love you. And I feel like you're the only one I can trust with this, bro. But I just been going through it, bro. Like, for real, dog. Like, I'm in love with Tamar.
Whoa, hold on. Tamar. Which Tamar are we talking about?
My brother Absalom's sister.
Got it.
But I just don't know how. I need your help. I just need a way to. I just gotta get around her, bro. Like, I just gotta be around her, you know?
Yeah,
What should I do?
I got it. It's an interesting pickle, but here's what you could do. Go lie down in your bed and pretend to be ill. I mean, you're already halfway there since you lose so much weight. And when your father, King David, comes around to see you, say to him, "Please let my sister Tamar come and give me food, and prepare this food in my sight, that I may see it and eat it from her hand." And so, once you do this, that'll at least get you in the door. Now, whatever else you do after that, that's on you.
I like it. Let's do it.
The rippling effects from David's transgressions were far beyond the king could have even possibly fathomed at the time of doing his act. This week we are going to begin discussing the ramifications of his actions. We are going to be diving into 2 Samuel chapter 13. As always, be blessed and enjoy.
All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. That is Nakhaz Gay. I am Earl Roberts. So this week we are getting into 2 Samuel chapter 13. It's a very interesting story. It's some call it might be a little bit dark, might be a little bit uncomfortable for some. Who knows? Like, we'll see how this story goes. But it's definitely an interesting dilemma, I would say. For weekly thought, it's just about like something I was thinking about recently, even like last night, like how the devil uses our weaknesses to try to pry us away from God. And we see it all throughout the Bible. Like, we have last week's episode was a prime example of that with with David and Bathsheba. But yeah, man, even no matter how mighty we think we are, like that pride, that ego, the devil can use the simplest of things that we might that's just unique to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so interesting reading the Bible. You're like, bro, how he fell for this? How did Samson fall for this? How did David fall for this? How did such and such a person fall for this? But the devil knew their weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with us. Like, he knows our weaknesses. Like, we might be super strong in one area, but you don't know what Nakhaz dealing with. You know what I deal with. You know what I'm saying? But the devil knows like what buttons to push to get us to like our minds to dwell on sin, kind of like, for lack of a better word, man. And the thing about it is, like, once he gets you in this place, he gets you to start feeling ashamed. He gets you to start feeling guilty. He gets you to start feeling that you've fallen too far to even go to God to ask for repentance and forgiveness. But that's just not the case. But it's just part of the devil's tricks. It's part of his arsenal. It's part of his repertoire that he uses these things to just mess with our minds. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing is we have a God who told us that, we're not holding him up so we can never let him down, kind of way. And so God's always there, like, waiting for us to come back to him, waiting for us to say, you know what, like, you are still my child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can never sin too much for me to love you. And that's the devil's biggest thing. He wants us to think that we are so sinful that we are beyond the love of God. But that is not a thing. So while sin is not okay, our very essence, we have a sinful nature. So when we do find ourselves backsliding, just so we can come to God and put our sins before him and ask for forgiveness and try to rebuild that relationship. Like, God's always there knocking on the door of our hearts. He wants us to let him in. He isn't there just saying, it's too late for Earl. Like, bro, I done been here a million times. I ain't giving you no more grace. But the thing is, his grace, his love, his mercy, they never run out. They are sufficient. His grace is enough to cover us. And that's something we just have to keep in the back of our minds. Like, God's grace, love, and mercy is enough. It is ever sustaining. It is everlasting. So that's just something that was on my mind. I mean, it isn't as deep or something, but like, sometimes you don't even have to be deep, you just have to be real. And I think that's just what we have to be as Christians in today's day, just real. Like, like, God's there, he loves us, and his grace is enough. Kick it over to you.
I agree, bro, because I feel like lack of authenticity is a very dangerous thing, because not everybody into the superficial. Like me, when I listen to a song, bro, if some songs are good, but when I feel like they're not saying something, you have to really excel in like catchiness, or like your concept of this song have to be interesting to make up for a lack of lyrics, in my opinion. But sometimes I listen to a song and I'm just like, but you're not saying anything. And from a writer standpoint, that's like, that bothers me, because I'm like, everybody likes this song, but I can't like it because I know this is lazy, bro. Like, you feel me? Like I feel like it's disrespectful, because like, you didn't care about me, like, you didn't try, you know what I'm saying? And if you talk to the artists, they'll say they try their best and that's what they get and stuff like that. So I can't argue, but it's like, I can't connect to this song because it lacks a degree of authenticity. Like, I don't feel like you live this in a way. My friend who's a pastor, he was telling me that your sermons should always have conviction. And when they don't, you would feel it. And I love that so much, because I was telling him, when I write sermons, I preach to myself. I only write stuff that I feel like I struggle with, or maybe I overcome and I realize how hard it was to overcome. I preach it out. So I preach it from a personal standpoint. This stuff is personal to me. And when we sugarcoat things as people who trying to help, or Christians or church or whatever, when we sugarcoat things, it's dangerous, because we're not giving people the tools or the testimonies or the things that they need for them to overcome as well. Bro, like stuff like pornography, male, like heterosexual sins, stuff like that, bro. Like, I feel like now as an adult, people are talking about these things more and more. But as a child, bro, ain't nobody was telling, like, I wasn't too familiar with people telling us how to overcome these things, or to what degree everybody deals with these things, or to what degree most people deal with these things, So it could really leave you on an island. It could leave you subscribing to the notion that, oh yeah, every man have his desires and he can't overcome. But
bro, that's a powerful one. Keep going.
Yeah, no, every man have his desires, so you can't overcome. But my thing is, there are people who do overcome. But it's so, bro, like, it takes so much discipline and so much work. And I don't feel like there's a lot of men or a lot of people just outlining every single thing it takes. Because in order to do so, I have to be so real that I have to show you how sinful I am, bro. Like, I have to kind of show you. And I don't mean this to say like somebody is a weirdo, but I have to show you how sick my mind could get in order to show you the antidote that was needed for me. And then you could scale that to how you want it, But that's such an uncomfortable conversation. A lot of us tend to stray away from that, And because of that, people have to reinvent the wheel every time. And they don't know like, some people literally do not know what it takes or how to overcome this sin. So that only leaves one thing to say, that this sin can't be overcome, you know. And like I definitely agree with the realness, bro. Like some people need the real, bro, like the superficial. Let me just give you this text, no application. That ain't cutting it for everyone, bro. Some people need that real, and I think when you sacrifice the authenticity, that leaves room for people to say like to bunch our religion with a lot of other religions that are not rooted in substances that come from God, you know?
Bro, that's a fact, man. And I ain't even going to do all this. I feel like this topic needs a whole episode in itself, but like pornography in itself, like people don't know how damaging that is to your psyche and to like your walk with God, man. Like it's so dangerous, and it seems so like minuscule. But you, like, a lot of people don't understand how that right there is just a gateway for so much other things in your life. Like, it's
that's a fact. I could just say one thing on that. You know what I mean, bro? While we here now, because when we get to that conversation, we might take years before we get to that episode or something, bro. Stuff like pornography, bro. Respectfully to everybody, it increases your standards. That's number one. So it can give you unrealistic standards. That's number one. Self-pleasure. Trigger warning. I'm sorry. This is a little late right now. But like when you get to that, bro, it's like you have to be so responsible to the point where it's like you abuse that. So you do this every time you need it, every right on time like that. So when you get with your partner, your husband and your wife, you expect them to be able to satisfy you just like that. Like how you could do that every day to yourself. You could watch pornography every day. Now you expecting your partner to do that. Unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't your personal slave, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like for real, this is a consensual thing. You know what I mean? And so it also, and I talk about from my life, it damages your confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just live in a world, bro. You live in a world where like this is more like lust and stuff like that becomes more important to your everyday life than it actually should be, you know? And yeah, I mean so I actually had to stop watching that. Obviously, because it's wrong, you know what I'm saying? But like trying to be in a committed relationship with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And a successful marriage, like that's something that I will tell you 100% you need to work towards getting rid of, because it would be toxic to your marriage. 100%, it will not help your marriage. And if you're in a relationship, getting rid of that or like stopping to do that is going to improve your relationship. And I stand on that 1,000%.
Man, that's an absolute fact, bro. That's an absolute fact. We need to like soon come back to some of these other episodes. Someone was telling me the other day, we need a My Story Part 2. They say you guys just ended like you guys didn't you guys didn't bring us up to speed. You guys are kind of left like after college. So like we'll run it back. So I still think like
the Sabbath Part 2.
We do need the Sabbath Part 2. We ain't do the episode on faith yet. Like
that's true.
We gotta knock a couple of these ones, but like I think it's definitely important. It's definitely important. Not to belabor the point. So I guess we'll go on to 2 Samuel 13. And also if you guys have any like personal experiences or anything like that, definitely comment them below. Like, share, and subscribe. Even before we get into the chapter, the reason why we ask y'all to do this, right? And part of me, low-key, I really don't like asking people for anything.
Fox. Personally.
But it's like on YouTube, for example, I guess it's a podcast. I'm going to go through this. For YouTube, for example, right? This is how the algorithm works. 1, are people actually watching your content? Cool, they're watching your content. How long are they watching it for? You have an hour-long episode. Are they watching for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes? Are they watching the full thing? If they're watching for 2 minutes, that means, okay, people click it, but they're not that engaged. We're not really going to share it. So now if you actually you comment, people are actually showing engagement under the post. So that's when we ask you guys to like comment stuff below. We actually do appreciate it because it helps the algorithm promote it. But then also do you actually like share the content? Because YouTube, to the algorithm, if you like this content and you actually shared it with someone else, then that means, this content is actually shareable to other people and we'll actually show it to more people out there. So that's the only reason kind of why we ask these things. It's like, it's it's a part of the growth. That's essentially what it is. So we definitely do appreciate the likes. We definitely do appreciate the comments and the stuff like shares and stuff. They're harder to track, but we can see it on the back end, but we definitely do appreciate it. So yeah, that's like the background to why we ask these things. And also like the community engagement, because again, it's just me and Kazia. These aren't live, so we don't have people like commenting on them yet. One day we'll get to the live spot. God's willing, everything's up in the air, but we're going to get to that point one day. But like, if you guys comment, sometimes you add a different perspective we didn't think about or consider, and then we get to like, engage and respond back and go back and forth and that kind of stuff, or it gives us something to address on a future episode. So that's kind of like the background to why we ask these things. Is not really because like we want to, but it's part of the game when you're in a podcasting show realm. You got to like, ask for support. So that's just the background to that for anyone's personal, satisfaction as to why they ask these things, or to why you listen to any podcast and why you see these people like say these things. So yeah. So in 2 Samuel 13, after this, Absalom, the son of David, had a lovely sister whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her. So we see 2 Samuel 13 is kind of continuing. Well, I don't know to say continuing, but it's going along the same like trend of violence.
Yeah,
I got we say these people chose violence.
Yeah,
it's going along with this same kind of like weird things that's been happening in the last 2 chapters. So we see Absalom, who was the son of David, had a lovely sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. So we see Absalom and Tamar were brother. They were full brother and sister. If you go back to 2 Samuel 3, verse 3, we see that they were the son. They were the daughters,
children.
The children. That's the word I'm looking for. Of who was it again?
I thought you would.
How did you know? But you know when your mind go blank sometimes. Okay, so I got it here.
I don't know.
So they were the daughter of Maacah, 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 who was the daughter of the king of Geshur. So they was, so again, so they were these are one of David's marriages to like, secure peace in the region. So it was like one of those like royal marriages. So David married someone from the kingdom of Geshur and had 2 children with her. So Absalom and Tamar were from Maacah. That was from that marriage. Amnon, who was actually David's firstborn son to the Jezreelitess, who was it, Ahinoam? So Amnon was Ahinoam's son, who was David's son by default. And then Absalom and Tamar were the children of Maacah. So Amnon was the oldest. Absalom and Tamar came down the line. I'm not going through the order of David's children right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, just know
they were siblings, basically. Absalom and Amnon, half siblings. Tamar and Absalom, full siblings.
So now we see Amnon was so distressed over his sister Tamar that he became sick, for she was a virgin, and it was improper for Amnon to do anything to her. So again, oh man, this is already getting a little disturbing, right? Think about it. So we have Amnon, who wanted his sister so much, so much that he became, as we would say, lovesick for his sister. And I feel like, personally, just knowing the story, I feel like love is the wrong word to use in this case, but he became so obsessed with wanting his sister. Like, I don't get, like, some people like put emphasis on the half system, was not, I personally don't care. Like, y'all are siblings. You know what I'm saying? You ain't like y'all step siblings. Y'all share the same parent. Y'all are siblings for real. You know what I'm saying? And you want your sister so much that you're getting sick. Yes, or your body. Go for it.
He was concupiscent, or however you say it, filled with sexual desire, burning. I mean, lustful. So my thing is, he wasn't in love because the thing about love is that what somebody virginity have to do with love, bro. Like you can be in love, two virgins can be in love, bro, and nothing is stopping them from being in love. One virgin can be in love with someone who is not a virgin, and nothing is stopping them from being in love.
Exactly.
The fact of the matter is, this man was burning with desire. You see what I'm saying? Like, to the point where this affecting his day, bro. Like this, he's sick, bro.
Affecting his health.
Yes, this right. It's affecting his health, bro. That's how bad he was sexually attracted to his sister Tamar.
And it's interesting too, because you see like what he was attracted in. Because the mere fact that she was a virgin, the Bible's kind of implying and showing you what he really wanted. Because if you love someone, to your point, being a virgin don't matter.
What does it matter, bro? Like,
exactly.
Like, what was stopping him from loving her, bro? Like, you can still love somebody, bro. Like,
and the point is, right, being a virgin is a good thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in that day and age. Like, you want it, if you love someone, you want them to be a virgin. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want, it was almost improper to marry someone who wasn't a virgin back in that day.
Bro, but it was like that even up until like 200-300 years ago, bro.
Like,
no, bro, like
Fox,
even like, right, you know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, someone says it was like that way up until like 20 years ago, you'd feel like.
Right, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, because back in that, bro, like you watch medieval movies, bro. Mm-hmm. Somebody, like a woman does not have a virginity. They look at her as all type of things when it really could have just been that she had premarital sex. You know what I mean? Like, they look at us as something way more than someone who's just not a virgin. So in this time, this predate that time, and I'm talking about like thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Right. So it's even more serious culturally for why a woman should hold on to her virginity, because it was shamed upon to lose your virginity. Especially as a woman, and that's just me being honest. I'm not here to say if that's right or wrong, you know what I'm saying, but just saying how it was viewed by society.
And exactly, like, and especially the Bible shows that she was a virgin. I mean, she was available for marriage, but not to Amnon. Also, because half brother and half sister marriages were looked down upon. And just for context, Tamar means palm tree. Absalom means his father's peace, which is so interesting. We're going to get into that. What you going to say?
But, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I see why you make that comment off mic. But I didn't realize that Tamar is the same name of Judah's daughter-in-law, a.k.a. also his baby mother. I didn't even put that two together, bro. Like, bro. And I see, because off mic, I was relating. I said, this story reminded me of a story in Genesis, but I was talking about a completely different story. But Earl thought I was meaning the one with Judah and Tamar. And I'm like, bro, I get why you say, like, why that's the first place you're going, because that was going to be my next point. You know what I mean? But I'm like, bro, it's the same name. Like, that's crazy.
That's why it was my first point. I was like, the names line up.
It's right there, bro. It's right there. So we have a story related surrounded by sexuality, right? In both times, both women was called Tamar in this scenario. But yeah, so that's a pretty circle moment.
That is. And then Amnon means faithful and stable, good mercy. Just to paint how these people's names, they didn't live up to their names.
No.
Go for it.
It's so funny because earlier in the Bible, bro, like the names were so spot on, bro. Like what Moses named it mean, like of the water or something like that?
Yeah, taken from the water.
Bro, you don't think it's wild that this man part the Red Sea, bro? A man whose name was taken from the water, bro. Part the Red Sea, bro. And then this just hit me, this the Holy Spirit, bro. The reason why he did not get to see the promised land is because he struck the rock so that it could spout out water. You understand?
Instead of talking to it, yeah.
Instead of talking to it. So it's like, it's very key points about water when it comes to Moses. Very key points. And I don't see that as being coincidental.
Exactly.
But these people, right, their names was Not right.
Right?
Well, Tamar ain't do nothing to nobody, so.
Tamar was anyway, we could get to that. So,
Yeah.
but Amnon, who had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother.
Mm.
So we're seeing Amnon essentially had a cousin, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
His cousin, Jonadab. Okay. Now, Jonadab was a very crafty man.
Mm.
And he said to him, "Why are you, the king's son, becoming thinner day after day? Will you not tell me?"
Well,
You know, some people say you need to fast and pray to get what you want, right?
Fox.
But I think they mean like this.
See, but I think it's to the point where, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I can be real, bro. My freshman year of college, I gone through a breakup. That's the lowest my GPA was. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Your boy was going through it, bro. I started to learn to play the piano, bro.
You told me the story.
I learned how to skate. You know what I mean, bro? I just could not be alone with myself, bro, because like this was such a culture shock. This was such a shock to me, bro. Like that really hurt me, bro. I fell below a 3-point average. First, that's the only time in my college career, you know what I mean? My grade was a 2.85, bro. Like, and that wasn't common for me, you know what I mean? In the United States. But when I was in the college, bro, my grades crazy back then. I didn't care. But anyway, I was unmotivated, bro. And that's how I know when I depressed, bro. I become very unmotivated. I was unmotivated to go to class, bro. If I pass a test or don't pass a test, but I didn't care, bro. You see what I'm saying? I lost a lot of weight during that time too. You feel me? Because like I did not have a desire for food. You know when you're sick and you lose your appetite? Like I've had the flu sometimes when like I'll go a day or two and I have no desire to eat. And then my mother or someone would be like, bro, you have to eat, bro. You have to eat. And I'd eat, but I can't eat a lot. I only could eat small portions because like, I guess the hormones or nerves or whatever messengers telling my brain to eat, like they numb, they shut off that day. They ain't come to work that day. And I believe that's what, what his name is, Amnon was going through. Amnon was so perturbed to the point where he had no desire to eat, bro. I like this thing, but you know, like when someone might be on trial or they might have a court case or they might be expecting a child or something that like very, like is very nerve-wracking to them, right? It consumes your mind to the point where, bro, you just forget to eat, bro. Like you just, your mind too focus on other things. I think that's how Amnon was to the fact that he just wasn't eating. You know what I mean? Like he just was too concerned with getting Tamar.
He was with that lustful life is what he was doing.
Yeah, for sure.
So we see Amnon said to Jonadab, "I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister." I just want to point out how caught up in lust he had to be at this point, right? Because he could clearly recognize Absalom as his brother.
For sure.
Tamar and Absalom have the same parents.
Yep.
But he can't recognize Tamar as his sister. It's Absalom's sister. It ain't my sister. It's Absalom's sisters. But you say Absalom is your brother. So if Absalom is your brother, by default, Tamar is your sister, but you can't bring yourself to say that. That's just wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, you that far, unless you can't even acknowledge that's your sister, because in acknowledging that's your sister, you really realize how warped and messed up what you really saying really is.
Yeah, but you realize you in sicko mode right now.
That's a fact, bro. Like, he said he loves her, but he don't love her anyway.
See,
you know?
Right.
Go for it.
Dog. I ain't say every, but the first time they mentioned that he loved her was verse 1, right? And then verse 2 end by saying it was improper for Amnon to do anything to her. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a physical thing he dealing with, bro. This ain't like a romantic, emotional thing. So I feel like, you know, like you could be infatuated, bro. Like you so burning with desire. I ain't gonna lie, bro. And that's how lust is, bro. Lust could have you feeling like you in love with somebody, bro. You see what I'm saying? But You ain't in love with that. You ain't in love with that person, but you in love with
The
the
thoughts.
accent. Yeah, right. You in love with everything else, bro. Like I would love to engage. You know what I mean?
The
And that's how.
possibilities.
And right. And in his mind, he convinced that like I love this woman, bro. But it's telling because you love her, why you don't try and marry her? You feel me? Why you don't try and marry this person you love her so much, bro?
Mhm.
Right now, granted, we could get into the Levitical laws, how it is literally against the laws to feel that way or be engaged with your siblings or your family members and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm saying that because it's implied, but just for those who don't know, yes, this is not. If there's someone who listening to our podcast or familiar with this story for the first time, familiar with the Bible for the first time, this is happening in the Bible, but it's not like permitted by the Bible. You feel me? Like there are books that precede this that speak against this, and that's why this is just all the more wrong, even for them.
So we see Jonadab came up with a good plan. Good quotations. He said, lie down in your bed and pretend to be ill. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, please let my sister Tamar come and give me food and prepare the food in my sight, that I may see it and eat from her hand. So what's so messed up with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like the Bible implied this man thinner. So we don't know how much of how big he was or small he was. But either way, it's small enough. He shrunk so much that someone else who knew him could be like, bro, you're definitely smaller, bro. What's going on with you? Like, what's happening? You're definitely smaller. And then he's saying, okay, you ready? Clearly something wrong. Now you can. This is an easy scam for you to run now. You done lose weight.
Yeah.
You done lose weight. You lay down in bed and pretend to be ill. What's so funny is, right? Like again, they saying he became sick and then he lose weight. But now we see in Jonadab saying, bro, nothing is wrong with you because now you have to pretend to be ill.
Right.
It's so interesting.
Run with this.
Go for it.
Run with that. Yeah, whatever. See, so right now you ain't nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like for real, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just burning with desire, bro. I won't use the H word, but you just burning with desire, like for real. And what's funny about Jonadab to me is that they describe him as a crafty man. Who else was described as a crafty man, if you can remember? David. Your uncle, his uncle was described as a crafty man, right? So, like to me, just a family trait. You feel me? And so he devised this plan, and it actually make a lot of sense, bro. You already look like you're sick. You sick in the head, maybe. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
but act like your immune system is being attacked or something like that, or you fighting some type of bodily illness, and tell your daddy the only way that this could work is if you be nursed by your sister Tamar. I want to know if you think Jonadab know how deep this was for Tamar. I mean, for Amnon. How serious this man felt about his sister.
Bro, it had to be, right? Because here's the thing, right? You know, the Bible give us the meat. You know what I'm saying? We ain't getting all the sides and whatever else, right?
Right.
Think about it. Jonadab saying, but I could give you the alley-oop. I could tell you what to do. But in whatever else you do after this, it on you. But we both know what their desired goal is. He say, but I love Tamar, my brothers, sisters, bro. Like I want, you imagine, but it's like, just really think about it. It's like probably one of your best friends. This is your cousin, right? Someone you're really close with. But I want Tamar, bro.
Mm-hmm. Straight up.
The Bible might have polished it up and say, love or whatever when they was writing it. But he straight up and say, I want Tamar, bro. I want her. But I want her, bro. Like she gotta be mine, bro. You know, kind of way. And he said, all right, that's what you can do. You devise his little plot, when your old man comes to see you, tell him, you're sick or whatever, because he could be concerned, use his oldest son. You know what I'm saying? He could come, just say, I think about it like, if I was David, right, but why just don't send you a nurse?
Right.
Why you want your sister come to you? But David might have been like, again.
See, but who thinking that you in love with your sister, bro.
You in
see
sicko
what I'm
mode.
saying? Like, yeah, who thinking you in sicko mode? Who thinking you in sicko land right now, bro? Like, for real, bro. Like
They've had a
just
lot
think-
going on right now.
Fox, bro. Like, you might have wanted to be surrounded by family because you know they can take care of you the best. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, David might have been like, this is a little weird. Oh, yeah, but you say he had a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on right now. I mean,
Oh, yeah, David had bigger fish to fry. David just lost a son.
mm-hmm.
So he ain't want to lose another son. You see what they saying?
Man. And then
He just lost his youngest. He didn't want to lose his oldest.
exactly. And so now we seeing like, he's saying, hey, Amnon, we know what your desired goal is. This is the perfect plan to get you and her alone together.
Fox.
That's what it is. But I set it up. This is the plan for you and her to get alone together. Now, we both know what your ultimate goal is. I can tell you what to do, but we setting the stage for this to happen.
And I can be real. But ain't no doubt in my mind that Shonadab knew 100% Amnon's intention, bro.
Of course, bro.
Bro, I think that's how men are, bro. You can go to a person who, especially men like this, bro, and this stuff like this is happening, college, all type of thing, right? You can go to somebody who you know ain't gonna shoot you down, bro. I guarantee my boy who into this type of thing, bro. You see what I saying? And this who could show me how to do this.
How to execute this plan.
How to execute. You see what I saying? Like, out of all the brothers you got, out of all the people in the world, you see what I saying? You come to this crafty man, but you know he can tell you what to do. Even if him in his mind, like, he like, bro, I wouldn't do this. He ain't the type of person who try to talk you out of this, bro. Like, he ain't the type of right, all right. And so remember a few episodes ago, when we was talking about David, when he sent his servants to comfort Hanan when the Ammonite king had died or whatever. Bro, you gotta watch the people who in your corner, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as human beings, we have to be self-aware in what the goal is, bro. If you was a Christian, the goal is to be like Christ. The goal is to be more like God. The goal is to get to heaven. You have to recognize your friends, who, whether they're good people or not by your standards, you have to recognize when their philosophies or their advice is not siding with getting you to heaven. I talk to my wife about this all the time. Like, I wanna start going to see a therapist. You see what I'm saying? Not on some like serious stuff, but like, to me, I look at that as like going to the gym. Like, you go to the gym because you want to get in shape, but sometimes you go to the gym because you want to stay in shape. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to exercise empathy, and I want to learn more about myself and unpack some things, right? But my therapist cannot be someone who is not a Christian, bro. And it ain't even the fact that Christian, bro, like, I have to know this person, know the Bible very well, bro, because I don't want to be advised in such a personal stuff, as something as personal as my life and my emotions. I don't want to be advised in a way that leads me away from God. There's a lot of things that we define as good, quote unquote, but they're not of God. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you have people from other religions, they'll push peace and all this and that. That's good, bro. You understand? But if you get them to tell you their true thoughts on life, they're going to give you a philosophy that leads you to their God. So to me, that's not godly. It's good based on a human standpoint, right? But anyway, back to sidebar, because we got a lot of verses to go. Absalom went to this guy who wasn't going to give him sound Christian godly advice. You know what I mean? This is a crafty man you're going to. So
exactly. So where were we? So Jonadab said, lie down, go pretend to be ill. And when your father comes to see you, please tell him, let my sister Tamar come and give me food and prepare the food in my sight that I may see it and eat from her hand. Then Amnon laid down and pretended to be ill. And it's so funny. Like, I know we on verse 6, so we probably got to make up some ground pretty soon, right? But It's so funny how quick we are to run with evil than we ought to run with good sometimes.
Fox.
You know what I'm saying, bro? This man did this almost dang near immediately. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wasn't no slopping up. It wasn't no, let me think and ponder. He said, that's a good idea. Let's do this. This man laid down, pretended to be ill. And when the king, David, came to see him, Amnon said to the king, please let my sister come and make a couple of cakes for me in my sight that I may eat from her hand. And David sent home to Tamar, saying, now go to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him. So now we see, and it was so interesting, right? Now we see Amnon, who couldn't call her his sister before, when David came, said, please let my sister come. But now you so far deep into your own plan, reality don't mean nothing no more.
Nope.
Like he didn't even double think, yeah, that's my sister, but bro, this plan's set in stone. I am going through with this now. And man, I've not in this case, definitely not. But I've been there when you got your plot and you're like, man, I know I probably shouldn't be going to this place or doing this. Like, but I going nah. Like, ain't nothing stopping. You seen the red flags, right? And you're like, man, that ain't nothing no more. I don't care no more. I already make up my mind. I'm going through with this.
Right. Just like Balaam, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But and sometimes, but these red flags, you just can't even see these red flags. But like in hindsight, when you look back at it, you're like, bro, that was a red flag. I should have known better, bro. But no, bro, when you, I have this idea that like when you in the flesh that deep, bro, your senses become numb. Your spiritual senses become numb. And so more you susceptible to more damage,
That's a fact. That's a big fact. So now in verse 8, so Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house and he was laying down. She took some flour and kneaded it, made some cakes in his sight and baked the cakes. Then she took the pot and placed them up before him, but he refused to eat. The plot thickens. Amnon said, have everyone go out from me. The plot gets thicker. And they all went out from him. So Amnon said to Tamar, bring the food into the bedroom that I may eat from your hand. I'd have been there like, hold on, babe. Hold on, bro. Why everyone have to leave?
I'm telling you. See, but at the same time, this your brother, and you think he dying or something like that. You don't know if he want to tell you his last words. So you want to say, I asked everybody to leave because the men are planning to kill me. And I want you to send this message to him. You know what I mean? Like all type of reasons why you could think. The man look like he dying though, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And then for the umpteenth time, bro, you do not expect your blood brother. Sibling, right? Your blood brother to feel this way about you.
Mm-hmm. And so they all went out from him. And Amnon said to Tamar, bring the food into the bedroom that I might eat from your hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon, her brother, in the bedroom. Now, when she had brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her and said, come lie with me, my sister. Ouch. But she said to him, no, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing. And where could I take my shame? And as for you, you would be like one of the fools in Israel. Now, therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you. However, he would not heed her advice. And being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her.
That's just sad, bro.
Yeah. It's very sad. I think we see she trying to like talk to them like, bro, seriously, bro?
She's making so much sense, bro. You do this thing right now. I get that you are burning with desire, right? You do this thing right now, bro. The whole of Israel could feel it, bro. Like you could make us look bad because it's like these type of things don't happen, bro. You understand? Like we are set apart people, bro. And then you could be looked as the man who raped his sister, bro. And then I will never be able to marry anybody after that. I could be a shameful person, bro, for the rest of my life, bro. You could seriously impact my life, bro. That just ain't right, bro.
Exactly. And bro, Tamar was so smart, right? She was like, and again, like you read it right now in its context, and this me, kind of reading into it, so I could be wrong. But she was like, please speak to the king, for he would not withhold me from you. But she knew the Levitical laws to your point. Like if we bring this to David gonna be like, nah, bro, this is your sister. What's wrong with you? No, this is not happening. She was like, she tried to buy time. Let's go to David. Surely he ain't gonna withhold me from you. But knowing that David ain't gonna approve of this. And then again, she's saying, bro, think about what you're about to do. No, seriously, like, please think about it. What's gonna happen to me And if you don't care about me, you're going to be like a fool in Israel doing this.
Facts.
Go for it.
The way I see it, bro, she all right, so basically, like I think of a hostage situation, right? You're basically doing everything in your book to talk your way out of the situation. So first she tried to swing him. She say, man, you ask David, but he can let you marry me, bro. But in his mind, he like, no, he won't. That's not gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know I wrong, bro. Everybody know I wrong, bro. You see what I'm saying? So that ain't happening. And then she try apply logic. You know what I mean? But bro, at this point, bro, the man was looking, bro, from the point where you got lost in the sauce to the point where you sick if you can't have your sister, and then you trick your sister into coming, and now you willing to lie with her by any means necessary.
By force.
By force, bro. Reason is far behind you. Ever since you talked to Jonadab, that's the only time when you could have possibly get some reason, and he ain't giving no reasoning. He show you how to be crafty, just like him. You know what I mean? And now you trying to complete the mission, really.
Man, and so straight up, we see Amnon raped Tamar. That's what it was. No sugarcoating it. He raped Tamar because of his lust, his evil desires, right? And the funny thing is, right? This is how like the iniquity of the fathers is carried down from generation to generation. Because we could say David never raped anyone, right? But we see David was a man who operated in lust. Go for it.
But there's the thing, right? It's like we can't that thing with David. It's like we can't. I don't think we could even say that, bro, because it's like if the king asks you to do that, that's a do-this or else. You have to do it, right? So, like to me, that's political force. You know what I mean?
It's a different kind of rape.
That's a different kind of rape. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so like. And I think that fit even more with the generational thing, what you're saying.
Exactly. I mean, because like my thing is like, bro, as a child, you pardon after your as a child, you pardon after your parents. Like that's what it is. His is the oldest child. So you was the club, like you've been the one who's seen David's actions the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like you've seen the multiple marriages that we've talked about in 2 Samuel 3. Like we've seen, like, sure, at this point, to this knowledge, everyone kind of. We were talking about this all, right? But people kind of have an idea of what happened between David and Bathsheba. Yeah. People might not know the intricate details, but it's like, hold on, count the timeline. Everyone, I mean, it's common knowledge from there. Baby only take 9 months to pop out. You know what I'm saying? Like David was crying one off of this baby. Uriah just died. Like, hold on now, what's really happening? Timelines kind of, and now you marry her like right after the mourning period. So
I'm fishy.
Exactly. So again, man, it's just sad how this whole story is turning out. And I mean, I would love to say it gets better, but you know, we still got some more verses to go. But we see Amnon was beyond the point of reasoning. That he say, bro, no matter what logical arguments you're bringing to me, I simply do not care because I am going to get what I want. And that is that's the epitome of operating in the flesh. I don't care what anything else. I don't care about anything else. I am going to get what I want. Do as thou wilt. That's like one of the devils. That's like the devil's only commandment, really, until you do as thou wilt. And this is really what Amnon was doing. I am going to do what I want by any means necessary. Trickery, lying, force, it's going to happen. And so now we see in verse 15, verse 15, right? Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he had hated her was greater than the love at which he had loved her. Amnon said to her, rise and be gone. And it's almost crazy. I know we just were talking about, you would think I missed, like I jumped to the wrong verse. No, verse 14 was him just lying with her. And verse 14, however, he would not heed her voice as being stronger than she, he forced her to lay with her. And verse 15, Amnon hated her exceedingly. So right after not to be graphic, but right after he got his, right? He was like, oh, that's all it was? I'm out. I don't even, bro, the very essence of you despise me now. You know what I'm saying? And so now we can clearly see now that this could not have possibly been love. You know what I'm saying? Because love does not fade in this split second.
Right. Love, yeah. Quick like that. Love to hate. That couldn't have been love, bro. Love would have. See, my thing is, if you love somebody, you wasn't gonna have them to be a widow for not even a widow, just basically she like a nun for the rest of her life now. She can't marry nobody. You understand? I mean, someone can marry her, but that person, he gonna have to live with the shame of marrying someone who was disgraced by society because of what happened or whatever. And it's like, bro, you put such a heavy burden on this woman for the rest of her life, bro. It's like she can't be, like you can find peace through God, right? But it's like you make it hard for me to find peace for the rest of my life. You can't love somebody if you're willing to do that like that. You see what I'm saying? And then another thing is like, this back to my parallel with the book of Genesis is remind me of two stories. One, the story of the daughter of Jacob. So, like, I don't know how much daughters David had. I think it's the only one I'm familiar with. But Jacob, he had 12 sons, and he had a daughter, Dinah, right? And Dinah was raped as well. She was raped by Shechem, or the prince of Shechem. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And what ended up happening is that man, he did love her and he raped her. I guess kings, they don't take no for an answer. People in them royal lines, right? And I ain't even trying to be funny. I mean, that's on the heels of what we just talked about in the episodes that precedes this. But he wanted to right his wrongs because he didn't want Dinah to be shamed for the rest of his life. And he did love her, quote unquote. So he wanted to marry her. Now, we know how that ended. The sons of Levi and Simeon, they didn't see it that way, and they ended up killing him as well as all his people in his town, in the entire town. Right? I mean, all the men. And then it reminds me of the story of Judah and Tamar, because Judah had consensual sex with a prostitute, right? Tamar wasn't even actually a prostitute. Tamar was trying to prove a point. She was trying to have children because Judah had promised her that she was going to have children by one of his sons, and Judah didn't hold on to his bargain. He didn't keep the end of his bargain. So she tricked Judah into thinking that she was a prostitute. Judah obliged. He patronized her business.
Exactly.
And then when he found out that later on, he found out that Tamar was being a prostitute, and he tried to have her killed. And Tamar, this the Genesis story. This ain't not the story, not this Tamar. This the first Tamar.
Genesis 38.
Right. Tamar end up saying, "Oh yeah, let me y'all can kill me, but the man who possessions this is, whoever signet ring and whoever staff I think it was, this is the person who I had sex with." And Judah ended up realizing that was his stuff that he allowed Tamar to hold as collateral. And he realized, man, I was just about to kill you for something that I partake in, and you have been more righteous than me. And the point I'm trying to make is the way men view sex from their life to the way they view sex of a woman's life. Just to be frank, lust is a sin. You understand what I'm saying? Fornication, premaritally, is a sin. Whether heterosexual, homosexual, whether from a man, whether from a woman, it is a sin. That is a fact. You understand? And so I personally feel like it's lopsided the way men view women in this regard. And I feel like it's lopsided the way people look at different types of sexual sin. At the end of the day, some things make us more uncomfortable than others. That's a fact, right? But my thing is, let's have this indignation for all of the sin, because that's what it is, bro. This man, Amnon did not hate himself. That's the only person who was worthy of hate in this whole story. You should have hated yourself. You should have hated the advice Jonah gave you. You should have hated the act that you did. You should have hated what happened to Tamar. But no, you hate Tamar, the only innocent party in this whole story. Tamar was trying to help her brother who was sick. Tamar was trying to reason with her brother. Bro, this could make us look bad. This could make me look bad. I ain't even do nothing. But no, he turned around and hate her because it's that post sex clarity that men have after a while. You so burning, and this a man thing. Like I don't know how women feel, but from a man perspective, you know when you burning with desire, you don't be thinking straight, bro. You do not be thinking straight. You feel me? And then afterwards, you could see things for what it was. Now you looking at this woman like, wait, this woman ain't even no virgin no more. Like, y'all love her, bro. Look at this woman, but she just get raped. Mind you was the one who raped her. You treating her like how every other man in society about to look it up, but you hate her the most because you know how much you did care, how much you did desire her at first, and not just reminding you of all your deeds, bro.
Exactly.
So that's a guilty type of hate that he given towards her, bro, and that just ain't right, bro.
Exactly. Like now she was the embodiment of his sin, a reminder of how guilty he feels now. So he's like, I can't even have you in my presence no more. With this constant reminder of what I just did. So now we see all that lust, all that false love immediately turn into hate and despise. And so he told her, like, arise and be gone. And in verse 16, she said, no, indeed, this evil of sending me away is worse than the other that you did to me. And now we seeing, like, it's so interesting to me is now we seeing someone who loved us so much, quote unquote, now hates us so much. And she's saying, bro, now you done do what you do, and now the way you acting is worse than you raping me.
Yeah, bro.
Because now the only person who really and truly should stay with me now is you, because you take away my innocence. But now you saying I must get out. No, I'm not going nowhere. But now again, guilty with sin, ain't one had no reasoning. Knowing what you do is wrong, you ain't want no one to talk to. He said he would not listen to us. So in verse 17, he called his servant who attended him and said, here, put this woman out away from me, and bolted the door behind her. Now she had on a robe of many colors, for the king's virgin daughters wore such apparel. And his servant put her out and bolted the door behind her. When Tamar put on ashes on her hair and tore the robe of many colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head and went away crying bitterly. And Absalom, her brother, said to her, has Amnon, your brother, been with you? But now hold your peace, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this thing to heart. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very angry. And Absalom spoke to his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar. So I mean, even before we go on, because I know, bro, we running on time, but we see Absalom saying, bro, I could take care of you. You was my blood sister. What he did was super wrong. Don't hurt your head. I could take care of you. You could stay in my house. I gotta make sure you're taken care of. What partially annoys me personally is when David heard of it, he just got angry, but did nothing.
Yeah, he ain't take no action.
No, to me, that's kind of unacceptable. I mean, but this happened like centuries ago, but I'm like, bro, you're still the king, bro. Like, get us your family, don't bring them more shame to your house, but you still gotta like handle business, bro. Like, you can't let this thing stand. And to me, because, and we're gonna get into it, right? But because David did nothing, it spiraled things more out of control because he didn't handle his own business.
Yeah, like, but I don't have the text available, but I'm pretty sure that should have been punishable by death, bro.
It was punishable by death. It was punishable by death. So, but David couldn't bring him. And again, I know we tried to use excuse for David. Yes, he had a lot of stuff going on in his own house. And it's so funny how sin works. His own personal shame allowed him to be ineffective in this situation right now. And that's just the funny thing about sin, man. His own shame and guilt allowed him to be ineffective in a situation when he needed to be.
So, and that's how bad the devil is, not to give the devil credit or anything like that, but I think that's how we start off the pod, talking about like.
That's one of the things come full circle without planning.
Right. When the devil strikes, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he know the type of the struggle that you dealing with. He know he have a personal pack for you. This your personal temptation package. Right? I could give you any one of these, right? But he know when to strike. He strike David out of nowhere. Boom. Like, this was like unprovoked. David's supposed to be in battle, but he like, nah, I can chill home. Rule number one. You see what I saying? You away from where you supposed to be, right? Cool. David sees somebody and he dwell on it. We know how that end. Now, David life in shambles and in turmoil. David have so much on his plate. Nah, he could strike Amnon and Tamar. You see what I saying? But you don't know, but like when bad stuff, when traumatic stuff like this happened to you, bro, your brain changes, bro. Like the shock and the trauma that your brain deal with, bro, is so much to overcome. You know what I mean? And this could be a hindrance to her relationship with God. You feel me? And plenty times people I met when I was in high school, it was this girl, this is the first atheist I ever met, this in the Bahamas and everything. And she said she don't believe in God. And everybody used to look at her like, like, you know what I mean? But when you ask her, she said because she prayed for God to heal her father, and he ended up dying. You see what I'm saying? So like to her, that means like God can't be real. You see what I'm saying? Like obviously her faith wasn't grounded, but same thing could be with Tamar, bro. Tamar could be sitting by God, why this happened, Jay? You know what I mean? Like, why this happened? You know what I mean? And these type of things could lead to discouragement. But I say all that to say, like, it's like this person, this thing that David did, it opened up a door for Amnon to get away with this. It opened up a door for Tamar to get affected in this type of way. And it's just a perpetual thing until it's ended, you know?
Man, it's like, I almost feel like we almost split this episode into two.
I think we should, because we could talk about Amnon. Not Amnon, we could talk about Absalom.
Yeah.
In the next chapter as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like a decent ending point for this, and time wise too. But oh my, it's just interesting, man. Like again, the devil knows everyone's points. He knows what buttons to push. And when we operate in the flesh, it's just so interesting. I mean, because us reading the story, like, bro, you should know like this just ain't right. But you so operate by, I want what I want. Nothing else makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else makes sense. I'm not understanding any reasoning. I don't care about what the word says. I don't care about how this person feels. I don't care. The only thing I care about is getting mine. And it's easy right now to just throw so much blame on Amnon. And yes, what he did was awful, completely unacceptable. But how much times we've been operating in the flesh ourselves, not to this magnitude, right? Because this is a very extreme magnitude, but it serves a purpose to show that when you really put yourself on what your personal desires first, ahead of God and ahead of any reason, like what the results could lead to, like just, and we didn't even get into the full ramifications of this action yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it leads down such a slippery slope path. And sometimes you almost push yourself to the point of no return, which is, or at least feeling that way, which is just so sad. So sad, man.
Yeah. Leviticus 18 is what I was just reading for a second, because it go down your whole family tree. Like, don't have sex with your father, your mother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your brother. You know what I mean? And then it go down to say, the person who commits such, and they talk about other sexual sins, like all type of other stuff, but it's saying this person should be cut off from the people among you. So my thing is, I'm sure they talk about sex, because they talk about sex a few chapters in Leviticus and in Deuteronomy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's other more specific penalties, right? But the fact that David did nothing, and that's the thing about sin, when you realize how sinful you are, you tend to say, and I can't judge nobody. You feel me? Because I just as bad. I can't judge nobody. I just as bad. But the problem is, it's the difference between not judging somebody and just being complicit or being disobedient to God in the fact now. So like my thing is, as a man, right? When I have a family and my child is unruly, or my child misbehaving in school, should I say, I can't reprimand them, man. I used to misbehave in school. No, you got to check that so that don't develop. You understand? Mm-hmm. You have to discipline your child so that they can learn. You know what I mean? It ain't helping nobody. So also to us might as well be, if I already sinking in sin, right? You saying all two of us should just be sinking in sin? You feel me? And so like, but it's a shame. It's a shame that comes with when you sinning, bro. But I just like, it's crazy because like that shame happens when you forget that you sinful. David had went through so much already. David he had done everything to the book so far. So when he fall hard. You understand what I'm saying? But even when David was on top of his game, he should realize that only by the grace of God have I been righteous, because I am unchristlike, I am weak. You understand what I'm saying? I am not good. I am not good. You feel me? And that's like that type of ideology, like it breeds humility. You feel me? It breeds humility, bro. And it also breeds compassion. So my thing is, bro, you could have compassion on Amnon, right? That ain't the same as doing nothing, bro. That ain't the same as being complicit, because when you do nothing, you enable it. You enable Amnon. And newsflash, David, you set this up to happen. You understand? You was a pawn in all of this. So that should be a personal thing. You should be very disappointed, but you know what I mean? But like I say, he was so distracted with his own thing, bro. And I have this ideology, bro, and I only call in these, and these probably supported by the Bible, but because I have not done the research to show you text after text after text to prove this point, I am calling it an ideology, bro. There are things we do to remove certain hedges around our life, hedges of protection from God. Right? When I say hedge of protection, I'm talking about, remember in the story of Job, the devil came to Job and was like, man, Job, only worshiping you because you have a hedge of protection. And God said, all right, you could do anything, just don't kill him. So God removed these defenses, right? So we see where there is a hedge from time to time, right? My thing is, I believe that when we sin, or when we could give the devil grounds in our territory based on the lifestyle we have. You understand? So if we do things like, you know, certain spiritual practices that is not of God, like certain like you know, like how the Bible say don't offer child sacrifices and this and that and the third. You do these things, you inviting the devil and his spirits to come upon your life. You understand what I'm saying? Certain lustful things we do, it opened the door for things to happen to ourselves. You understand? For things to impact our children. It's the same thing that you're saying, the sins of the father, you know, how it affects our children. David, his family was not fortified anymore because of the chink in his armor. And that was intentional. Like David did that. You understand what I'm saying? Like David went on and make a conscious effort to do that. And he do so much just to make sure that happened. And now we see how that left Tamar unprotected. So the devil could have swooped in and affect her. You feel me? And it go back to the lust thing, go back to the pornography thing, bro. Jesus mentioned in the book of Matthew that we heard about adultery, right? But if a man even think about having sex with a woman, you commit adultery. Bro, you can't watch pornography without thinking about being in that action, without thinking about, oh, I wish that was me with that girl. You know what I mean? That's 100% of, that's what you're doing every single time, bro. And sometimes we go on Instagram, we watch movies, we do all of this and that, and these things run in our mind. You feel me? If we want to protect ourselves from committing adultery in the physical or even in the mental, there's certain things we can't consume. Remember a couple of episodes we saying you are what you consume. You become what you consume, rather. You feel me? Like in order to fortify and protect yourself, bro, you have to stop yourself from intaking this. You understand? Because these things, you don't know all these things can affect you, bro. You watch this movie and every movie, bro, you turn on Netflix, you turn on Hulu, HBO, almost every show, bro, they got sex scenes and stuff like that. These things playing on our psyche, bro. You know what I mean? And so you intake this, right? And these things, it have a lasting effect on how we think and how we move and how this and that and the third. So it's like, in order for me to protect my relationship And in order for us to protect our relationship, even in our minds, we have to protect our relationship. It's one thing I could go to heaven and say, yeah, God, I never cheat on my wife. Never. Even when we was in a relationship, never cheat on her. But then God could turn and say, but hold on, bro. For years, bro, it was a daily thing with you. You was opening up some tabs on your computer. You know what I mean? And you was cheating mentally, bro. You just didn't have the outlet. Or you didn't have enough pressure. But the devil could have flipped a switch on you any day and you would have caved and you would have given the temptation. That's facts, bro.
Mercy.
So I could walk around with the bride saying, bro, think about it, bro. You could walk around the bride saying, oh, I never murder. I never do this and that. I never do that. Wait, we was protected by God, bro. To God, you never murder, bro. It ain't because of me, bro. Because at the end of the day, I born in sin, bro. All of us born in sin, bro. But it's a fact that we are protected by God, bro. And because of these protections, it leads us to be able to withstand certain sins. But there's certain things we do for our own, we do on our own, or certain things that our families, that we inherit from our families that make us susceptible to certain sins. And as we partake, we're removing this hedge of protection. So now it make it hard on us. It make it hard on our children. But let's say we don't partake. Sometimes we carry the air that it's because of my goodness that I am not a murderer. It's because of my goodness that I am not a this or I am not a that. But no, it's because of the grace of God that we not that. You feel me? And so I feel like as we go through life, right? Obviously, we need to have grace for people that fall in different ways that we don't fall, right? But we have to realize that we have to deny self daily, and we have to accept and lean on to the understanding that it's because of God that we don't sin or that we don't fall in certain way, not because of ourselves. Because if it was up to us, we would fall. If it was up to us, every manner of sin, we would fall for. But it's only because of God that we're able to withstand certain sins. Amnon, filled with passion and lacking self-control, committed an unthinkable crime toward his sister Tamar. This crime was punishable by death. But the king did nothing to avenge his daughter. So her brother, Absalom, took matters into his own hands. But we'll talk more about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your host, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.